now, please.
Thank you so much for joining. I'll just take 1 minute to quickly introduce myself. I am Sharan. I am a nature educator, amateur naturalist, and an insect enthusiast. So I am deeply passionate about connecting people with the wonders of the natural world. I am one of the founders of the organization called ROAR from Rajapalayam, Tamil Nadu. We are working to popularize insects, especially butterflies, dragonflies, and tiger beetles, and other lesser known fauna in South India. So I am currently based in. I work here as an assistant manager for hospitality and as a naturalist at the Puma Lake Collective, where I combine ecological storytelling with immersive barefoot experiences here. So my interests range from butterflies to dragonflies, and I fell in love with tiger beetles few years back after reading Dr. Pearson's and Uniyal's book, A Field Guide to Tiger Beetles. And it's been last couple of years where I've shifted my focus completely to tiger beetles. I've been visiting different habitats, different places, just to for anybody for that matter, just to start with. You will only chase lifers to see as many new species as possible. That's what I've been doing, and I monitor Tiger Beetle Watch project on iNaturalist, which I would like to introduce that as well to the group. So Tiger Beetle Watch is a citizen science initiative, and it's aimed at monitoring and studying the distribution and seasonality of Indian tiger beetles, while also fostering public awareness and engagement. So this tiger beetle quest, which idea came up just a few days back, and keeping June and July the busiest and the most um, high season for the tiger beetles in India. We thought we'll do something called annual BioBlitz event just for specifically for tiger beetles in India, and we named it Tiger Beetle Quest. So Tiger Beetle Quest will be an annual BioBlitz event, as I said. It will be organized by Tiger Beetle Watch in collaboration with a lot of individuals, a few organizations now, which I hope will grow in the coming years. So we are launching it on June 28th, 2025. The event, we hope the event brings together a lot of nature enthusiasts to explore the outdoors, document as many tiger beetles as possible, and share their observations on iNaturalist traditional project. So, without further delay, I would like to invite our speakers. First, I invite Dr. David Pearson. So, Dr. David Pearson is an ecologist, entomologist, and one of the global authorities on tiger beetles. Tiger beetles, for those who don't know what these beetles are, they are charismatic group of these predatory beetles known for their speed, vibrant designs, colorations, and ecological importance. So Dr. Pearson is based at Arizona State University, where he serves as a research professor, and he has spent over several decades studying tiger beetles across many continents. So his work has significantly advanced our understanding of one, I would say, tiger beetle behavior, habitat preferences and adaptations to their uses as bioindicators of habitat health and the role of tiger beetles in global biodiversity and conservation planning. So he has authored and co-authored numerous scientific papers and several influential books, especially a field guide to tiger beetles of India, a field guide to tiger beetles of United States and Canada, and of course earlier papers on tiger beetles, the evolution, ecology, and diversity of the cicindelids. So, beyond tiger beetles, Dr. Pearson is a passionate advocate for using insect diversity as a tool for environmental education and is very active in shaping how insects are perceived and protected globally. Again, without further delay, on to you, David, sir. Looking forward to your conversation and presentation on Introduction to Tiger Beetles of India. Thank you.
Okay. And then you'll introduce Dr. Uniyal after I'm through, okay?
Yeah, after you're done with your talk, I'll introduce you, Nelson.
Okay. Now I'm trying to share again and it's not sharing. There it is.
Just the share screen button on the Google Meet and then click on entire screen and then share the screen.
Okay. There it is.
And before we start the meeting, I request all the participants to please turn off your camera and turn off your audio as well. So, and all your questions will be answered at the end of the session.
Up.
David sir, it's fine. You can move to your presentation screen so that people can start seeing.
Let me try again.
Okay.
Okay. Thought we had this all set up. There we are. Okay. Can everybody see that now?
Yeah.
Clear.
Okay. So this has been a wonderful awakening for me. When I started out working with birds, I figured that I had an idea of what the questions were, but I couldn't test anything with the birds because it was too difficult. In the meantime, these tiger beetles were here, and they lent themselves to experimentation and manipulation, and I was able to do much, much more with them and have a better idea of what was going on ecologically and for conservation use as well. So, helping us understand the world better. The tiger beetles kind of look very, very different. You can see some here that are more of a typical shape here on the left, but there are arboreal species. There are all kinds of forms and shapes, but they do tend to have their head and eyes together, wider than the thorax. They have long legs. Most of them can fly short distances, but some have lost their wings and are no longer flying. Some have monstrous mouths. This is the largest tiger beetle in the world. It's from South Africa. And you can see by the size of the grasshopper and the size of those mandibles, this is a beetle you don't want to pick up and let it bite you. It can do real damage. But this one is completely flightless and nocturnal. So just giving you an idea of the extreme amount of adaptations, but where they do share similarities as well. They have a range of enemies as well. You can see here on the left, a robber fly has captured a tiger beetle in the air when the tiger beetle flies up. But even a small little young plover has captured an insect on the beach of the ocean. So they have a range of enemies, both as adults and as their larval forms. Here's one that is flightless and arboreal. It's Tricondyla, which also occurs right there in India. It's on trees, it runs up and down the trees. And it has a protection, as many of these tiger beetles do. They protect themselves from their enemies by actually emitting a chemical that becomes cyanide and can be quite protected against, especially robber flies and other arthropods. It isn't quite so effective against birds and things like that, but it is one of the few insects in the world, one of the few arthropods in the world that actually produces cyanide as a protection in little small glands towards the rear end. There are other interesting things too. This is one that you might want to watch out for in India, especially in northeastern India. This is not a tiger beetle. It's actually a cricket that looks just like the previous Tricondyla, even acts like it, running up and down the tree. And apparently what it is doing, it is using the protection that the other predators have learned to stay away from Tricondyla because of the cyanide. They recognize this is another cyanide producing tiger beetle and leave it alone, even though it is not. Apparently, it's very, very tasty and would be a good meal if the predator recognized it. In the heat of the day, in very, very warm areas or warm substrates, the long legs not only serve an ability to run very quickly, but they can be used to what we call stilt. They rise and lift their body up off the surface of the soil where it's very hot into a little bit cooler air. So stilting is a way to cool off when the sun has become very, very warm. This is a picture that Dr. Uniyal took, and we thought it was extremely unusual. It is. Look at all those. There's hundreds and hundreds of tiger beetles roosting together. Is it for thermoregulation? Is it for protection, that all their chemicals together protect them? It's very seasonal, only occurs in the Western Ghats, and Dr. Uniyal can talk more about that. But we also see it in the Amazon. We see it in Southeast Asia, in Indonesia. Nothing to quite this extent of numbers of individuals, but grouping together, especially at night, can be a character that needs to be looked at. We don't understand why it's done. We need some more experimentation, but it's a fun one to look at because tiger beetles usually are notoriously solitary. They don't do this kind of grouping together, but in some cases they do become together in a very unusual pattern. What we're finding too is that taxonomy and the interest in the tiger beetles has moved away from professionals a lot because the whole organism studies are not quite so popular as molecular studies now are at universities. But one way to capture the interest of people around the world is in producing field guides. We have them, as you can see, for Japan on the right. We have them for Africa and Thailand, throughout South America. We're working on one now for the Philippines. We're working on one for Brazil. And that, more than any other way, along with iNaturalist and Insect India, Facebook, has opened up tiger beetles to many, many citizen scientists who wanted something to focus on. And here we give them an excuse to focus on tiger beetles and the wonderful world of tiger beetles around the world. It has given us so much data. When our field guide for the tiger beetles of India came out just a few years ago, we thought it would be great it would last for a long time. But with all the people from iNaturalist and Insect India adding range extensions, even apparently new species, the book is is already has to be renewed. And we're thinking on the next edition, not only will it be a hard copy, but we'll have an ebook that you can do on your phone and make it even more available to a broader range of people. We find that tiger beetles, as they get known better and better, we find that some species have subpopulations. We call subspecies. Here's one from North America, and you can see how different the color is. Trying to understand, why does the color change in the same species in different parts of its habitat? What's the function of the color? Is it anti-predator? Is it for thermoregulation? What is involved? Does it match the habitat differences in its extensive range? Those are all types of questions we're trying to answer now as we get into more details of understanding tiger beetles. And as you can see, the distribution of tiger beetles, the number of species, in all of North America, including Mexico, there are only 201 species. Look at the Indian subcontinent, 350 species. You have some of the most diverse areas in the world, and tiger beetles can serve as indicators for many, many other groups of organisms as well, because they're a lot easier to see and find than, say, birds or frogs, but they also represent, they have, where you find more species of tiger beetles, you often find more species of dragonflies, more species of butterflies, more species of birds. So we can use them as a kind of a species indicator of areas that need to be looked at, hotspots, etc. So indicator species is ending up being a really important part. Here's one of your larger tiger beetles, Octotata, that's mostly in northern part of India, a very large tiger beetle. And the advantage of using tiger beetles is that tiger beetles are well-known taxonomically. They have a stable taxonomy. It's not changing all the time. And we're getting to know their biology and natural history really well compared to many other groups. They're very easily observed, and for me, they can be manipulated for experiments very, very readily so that we can understand much more quickly and more accurately and dependable on what our results are. And different species occur over many types of habitats throughout the world. They reflect distribution patterns of unrelated groups. All these are really strong reasons that tiger beetles are so important as bioindicators. And this is something else we're getting into more and more in parts of areas where rice is grown. Some species are known to prey on rice paddy pests. In the Amazon as well, we're finding out that there are species that prey on crop pests. And by encouraging these tiger beetles to occur in these same fields, they can naturally control pests without the use of insecticides. That's economic importance, a good way, especially in trying to pull in politicians and non-biologists who are making decisions. Once you tell them that something has an economic impact, they're much more likely to look at it and say, well, this is something we need to use and look at and fund. We have some beetles that are widespread, but most species, even if they're widespread, tend to be very, very specialized. Here's a site in the Western United States where two species occur. They're widespread throughout the Western United States, but they're very, very specialized in their habitat. One species on the right only occurs right next to the water, and the other species on the left occurs in much the same habitat, but back away from the water. This specialization is important too, because that makes them very, very sensitive to changes. And environmental changes sometimes are not very apparent until it's 2 or 3 years later. With the tiger beetles, they respond immediately to environmental changes, and we know something's going on right away. This, for me, has been very fun with my students, because instead of trying to use observations and waiting long, long periods for something to happen, we can actually use experiments, enclosures, or trying to show how their predators react to them. The student in the middle is not fishing. He actually has a little lure on the end of the pole, and he's trying to figure out the robber flies, what they go after, what size, what color, which types of tiger beetles they prefer. And the student on the left is actually doing a feeding experiment, feeding the tiger beetles at different levels and different amounts. We can do that very, very quickly and nicely. That would take years with birds and other types of organisms that are not quite so easy to experiment with. Also, we find that it's very easy to train field helpers and get dependable data. If I'm doing this, for instance, with 5 hours of training, I've done this in the Amazon several times, people who have never seen a tiger beetle before in their lives. I train them for 5 hours. Here's a tiger beetle, there's a tiger beetle, there's one. And with 5 hours, they can go back on their own and they can identify and find 90% of the beetles along the forest with no other training. Can you imagine what it would take for me to train someone to do birds the same way, to reliably identify and look at birds and get useful data? It would take years. So this is another really important way that tiger beetles can be very important as general ecological indicators, because they're so easy to train people who have not had previous experience to understand them. With birds, it would take again many, many months to do the same to have these students attain the same level of dependable observations. This is another fun one we did just last summer in the Amazon. These are students who had never worked with tiger beetles before. And we did a marking recapture using the Lincoln Index to try and figure out population sizes. Actually, one of the students, a high school student, told me he never knew algebra could be useful before once he did this, in which we were able to very quickly look at these beetles, capture them, and come back the next day and use a type of algebraic formula which compares how many you marked the day before with how many you capture the next day. That gives you a percentage that you can then calculate the total population along the path. Very easily done. And here we are. One of the students, a Peruvian student, is actually marking the tiger beetle for our recapture the next day. Again, how easy this is to do, how effective and efficient the data are. It makes things, even in complex habitats like the Amazon, workable in a very short time. Here you can see how we actually mark the beetles. Those yellow spots are not the beetles' spots. Those are the markings of these art pens that we use. The orange things on the thorax over there, up here you can see these orange areas. Those are actually mites that attach themselves, phoretic mites that attach themselves to the beetles, not to suck juices, but to be carried around. The beetle actually disperses the mites. And here's another aspect of what's really important. Where you find more species of tiger beetles, you find more species of butterflies. Whether it's North America, Australia, India, we find significantly that there's a relationship. And again, the thing is, with birds, it would take you 5 to 10 years to find out a reliable number of species in one site where we can do it in a matter of months with tiger beetles. And by doing it with tiger beetles, we actually know and can estimate how many birds will be there, how many butterflies will be there because of this relationship. Again, tiger beetles, very, very useful organism for understanding complex habitats very quickly. This is the fun one. When we first discovered this, when I was working back in the 80s and 90s, some of the farmers were using, were looking at tiger beetles, and they found out that the rice paddy pests, the brown leafhoppers, were very, very significant on their as a pest on their rice. And they had a choice to use expensive insecticides, dangerous insecticides. And you can see here, look at the number of those brown leafhoppers. They were really doing damage to the rice. And we know that there are a couple of species that actually climb the rice paddy, the rice stems, and seek out these pests to eat them. And the females of these tiger beetles prefer to oviposit, put their eggs in the soil on soil that's at about 45 degrees. If it's 90 degrees or flat, they don't want to oviposit there as much. So we had some of the farmers change the angle of their dikes to 45 degrees, and the number of tiger beetles increased dramatically because the females were being attracted to ovipositional sites, and they would also then eat more pests. And of course, more males came in, and they very, very quickly doubled, quadrupled the number of tiger beetles in a paddy that were preying on these leafhoppers just by simply changing the angle of the dikes. Also, we're also working now with different World Wildlife Fund and with IUCN in looking at hotspots as ways to define and use and apply the limited funds and time we have. We can't look at everything simultaneously. So if you can choose organisms that are representative, that are well known, to create hotspots as high priority areas for conservation, then we can be protecting many other organisms, from mammals and birds and amphibians and all other organisms that occur in the same habitats. So hotspots, if they're selected, need to be selected very, very carefully. With tiger beetles, we know that there are areas in which there are many, many more endemic species. We can look at biogeographical ranges, where they went, where they came from, and understand the distribution of species richness. You can see in the middle there the distribution of species, where there are high numbers of species up here in northeastern India and high numbers of species down here in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Those are ways in which we can select. These are the highest priority areas. We also understand that these areas down here in southeastern India, southwestern India, I might add, in the Western Ghats, are from areas that are very endemic. These are species that we don't know where they arose, how they arose, but they are typically, the DNA indicates they came from here. We're not quite sure. These species up here, yes, it's a high number of species, but there are species that come from other areas by geographical routes. So they come from southwest and southeastern India. They come around here, and just by coincidence, they accumulate large numbers, but their origins, we know where they're from. These down here, they've come from centers of speciation right in India itself, in the Western Ghats, which makes them much more valuable for future conservation. We want to make hotspots this type of area because in the past, if it served as a center for speciation, very likely in the future, it'll be an important center for speciation as well. And as many of you know, iNaturalist has been spectacular in giving us more information, how quickly the data accumulate, and with hundreds and hundreds of citizen scientists helping us, it makes it even more important to use things like tiger beetles as ways to understand the future of conservation for areas like India. This is a fun one. This is a tiger beetle that was it occurred, we think it was found in Tamil Nadu. We're not quite sure, but there were only 4 specimens taken. It has not been seen since the late 1700s. Is it extinct? Or is it just so hard to find that no one has found it? If anybody can find this enigmatic tiger beetle, we would give them a medal, okay? So start looking for it now. It's a spectacular one. On the other hand, what happens is it also draws attention to tiger beetles because it's a fun story that a lot of people like to hear. It's an adventure, and those are the ways to approach children in school, their parents, adults. Uh, Give them a story and a really fun story that's true but has a mystery involved with it, and trying to figure out what's going on here. It can draw in many more people. Also, we're looking now to, we did have last year, all the tiger beetles of India have been assessed by the IUCN, and they now are listed, the species that are listed as threatened or endangered. We have a good idea now which ones those are. India is far ahead of many other countries because of that. Even though they have more species than most other countries, they have been looked at to this level. Yet there's still much, much more we need to know about them. And the citizen scientists, you people working with iNaturalist or Insect India, can help us immeasurably in trying to figure out what's going on by participating in iNaturalist, by talking to students, by talking to adults, by drawing more people in to look at the tiger beetles. So there is what I have to contribute.
Thank you so much, David, sir, for that really inspiring presentation. I'm sure a lot of you would have a lot of questions, but before we move on to question and answer section, let us finish our second talk and then we'll keep all the question and answer session later on. Um, just give me a minute. Yeah, got my screen. So, yeah, moving on to the second topic, it's about tiger beetle studies from the Shivalik landscapes of Himachal. So, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. VP Uniyal, sir, renowned entomologist and former professor and senior scientist at the Wildlife Institute of India. So, with over 3 decades of experience in insect ecology, especially in the Himalayas, Dr. Uniyal has led extensive research on tiger beetles, spiders, butterflies, and other invertebrates using them as indicators of ecosystem health. So, he has published over several papers, authored quite a few field guides, and has been part of major biodiversity expeditions, especially in the Nanda Devi and Kailash Mansarovar surveys. So, a respected member of global scientific bodies, he continues to contribute to biodiversity research and conservation as an advisor and a mentor. So, right now, Dr. Uniyal is working as a professor at Department of Biotechnology, Graphic Era University at Dehradun. Again, without further delay, on to you, Uniyal, sir. It's the stage is yours. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Saran. Yeah, I'm audible,
Yeah, you are.
and yeah, slide is visible.
Yeah, slide is visible.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much. And I started working on tiger beetles. I started in 1995 as my master's and PhD was on entomology. And one of the study we have conducted in the ecology study of tiger beetles in the as the indicators in our country, majority of the scientists they are working on basically of taxonomy, and the ecological part is slightly lacking. And Chandu just mentioned that about there in the some problems with the collection and study of insect in the nature. Certainly, this is one of the reason that majority of the students and the interested person is they're not much very interested. You need permission. If you are going any protected area, any forest area, you need permission. And then working again on beetles or any species, you need permission, even you're a plant scientist and you're an animal entomologist, anyone. So this is the kind of things that was the majority of people are not very much interested to visit areas and collect this thing. Collection is totally banned, certainly. It is one of the reasons. But since we are working in the Wildlife Institute of India, we took permission and then conducted the study. So that is the status of tiger beetles. Dr. Pearson already mentioned about it, and that is we are having still endemic species. Still list is very long, and we have to find out about how many is exact species of endemic to our country. And but why definitely he has suggested why tiger beetle? Why not other group of insect? We are trying to communicate to the students because everybody is asking why tiger beetle. Since I was working in the Wildlife Institute of India, and wildlife means wildlife only. That means of the scientists they're working on the tigers. So I will go to the story. Then I just submitted one permission letter to the government of Haryana at that time, So we need a permission to study the tiger. They thought we are there say that we are not having tigers because Haryana is not a tiger. So you go for other states. So it's very difficult to convince the people what is tiger beetle first, and then study the later. And why the need of the tiger beetle certainly is a good indicators, and specific habitat conditions is mentioned, and disappearing the habitat is disrupted in riverine area in Ganges, basically in Uttarakhand, in Haridwar and other areas. There's desertation and illegal minings. They are destroying the habitat of tiger beetles. Majority of the beetles they having this indicator of soil health and areas or tiger beetles, the host of this their species. But particularly suited for the monitoring of the landscapes. Fantastic. We need awareness of the species, richness, occurrence, and ultimately the importance of the functional nature of the ecosystem. Why the tiger beetle is important. We have to convince those students as well as the bureaucrats and the politicians and the funding agencies. Sometimes I'm submitting a lot of projects to the government of India and presenting it. They are not understanding. They will say, why we'll go for a tiger beetle? What is the need of this study? So that is have to anybody is interested to submit a proposal and do the study. You have to collaborate and understand what is the importance and why this natural ecosystem is important to be. And large number of scientists they work on different indicators. Somebody suggested that bees and diphterans are good indicators to conserve the values. Butterflies certainly is the litmus test of this environment change. Collins and etc. They say that dragonflies are good indicators, and definitely the study conducted by Pearson and Casola, the use of tiger beetles are good indicators. On the basis of this particular paper, I submitted a long back a proposal to Government of India, Department of Science and Technology, way back as 90s, early 90s, and I got good funding award it. And that time we have conducted this study. The idea of this study was to assess the species richness, distributions, and abundance of this in relation to the birds and butterflies and different vegetation types. Dr. Pearson just mentioned about it, and to establish this correlation of tiger beetles with this diversity and birds and butterfly along the altitudinal gradients. So this was the study we conducted in Pong Dam of Himachal Pradesh. Is a wetlands, huge wetlands, and large number of species available here. Naina Devi Wildlife Sanctuary, earlier it was this area it was a national wildlife sanctuary, but some of the area is denotified because of the heavy pressures on various biological issues. Then we have done the Nahan Reserve Forest, Renuka Wetlands, and Paonta Sahib and Simbalwada Wildlife Sanctuary. Earlier it was a wildlife sanctuary, now is a national park of Simbalwada, and then Dehradun up to the Raja National Park. This study we conducted, and this was the forest types we conducted. We have done a study on the altitudinal gradients up to the Pong Dams in the pine forest, dry deciduous forest, moist deciduous forest. This was our area, and 460 square kilometers we covered of this study. This was the Pong Dams, huge wetlands and regular mounting and migratory birds, they are doing it. But those areas, this is the best habitat of erosion in the riverine areas. We conducted the study here. This is the Naina Devi Wildlife Sanctuary. I already discussed that some of the part has been denotified in Himachal Pradesh. Renuka wetland is a beautiful area, a small sanctuary, wetland sanctuary, but the species diversity is very high. And Nahan Reserve Forest is completely, this is a fringe area, is the ending of Sal Forest and towards the lesser Himalaya and majority of the pine forest. So this is the zone you can get the species in high density levels. And Simbalwada now is a national park, having the good vegetations and riverine areas. We conduct the study here. The sampling methods are well tested. We have done line transit methods, observed butterflies and birds on this area. Vegetation sampling we already conducted and identified samplings of butterflies on this species. This was the sampling plot we mentioned as 15 meters, and it was light traps we use and pickings, pitfall traps, sheet nettings for the CCD. So this was the study designs we have done, and we requested that time. It is in 2005, I think so, is month of February. Month of February, Dr. Pearson visited those all areas and designed the study and conducted how the tiger beetle will work, and this work with the students got the ideas, and this is the methodology. So this was our result of that time that we documented 25 species of tiger beetle in this whole landscapes and 272 species of birds and 106 species of butterflies instead of the other areas of Western Himalayas. So this is the distribution pattern of the tiger beetles we conducted here. So we can say that Surya Rosta, Sal forest is a deciduous forest, very during monsoon, heavy, very good vegetations, and during summer is completely dry. So this particular area and four species we identified as indicators of that sal forest. And this is in, we have done the conducted study in winter, summer, and monsoon, continuously for 3 years, and 1,208 is individuals we collected, and Colomeras, Numegeras, Slendera, and Cosmodella. This is the four species we already documented, and you can see this is the species distribution of this species: the India, Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Myanmar along the river inside those area. And this is the cylindri species. This also you can see the innovative to the North India. Rocky and bouldery areas is preferred, is a habitat, but the pressure is in the riverine areas in everywhere in Western Himalayas. Large number of people are there collecting the silt and destroying this boulders, riverine areas, and that's really impacting on this habitat of this species, and they will destroy this habitat also. And this intermediate also distribution, rocky source and large boulders, and it is a distribution of northwest India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Nepal. And other species we have. This is the Vanosas. This is the margin of river, lakes, ponds, sandy beaches, and other areas. So this is other vegetation was the eucalyptus plantation. Eucalyptus essentially is an exotic species. Forest department long back planted this species for this timber. Basically, it was the idea was that they will get the timber and for the paper pulp. And in Shivalik area as well as in Simbalwara and other areas, and here Haryana is Yamuna and Jagadhari. This is a huge plywood factories, and the whole material is going for this factories or the plywood purpose. But eucalyptus they destroy the soil systems. Leaf litter is totally area, the whole areas, and soil structure is totally damaging, and the new say, seedling and samplings of other species is difficult to grow. And this three species of that area we documented in three different seasons, area, intermediates, and this is the new colony, one species of new colonies. So already defined here, this is the distribution, and this is the along wet sandy areas of eucalyptus plantations, intermediate rocky shore areas, and it is a habitats of this new colonies is a distribution northeast India, Pakistan, and Nepal, Bhutan, and Myanmar. So other is the Acacia catechu forest. It is a katha, locally known as katha. This is one species documented is this area, and riverine areas we are having Scolomera as species two we received because of that is the still there's a very pressure on this riverine areas. This is one of the difficult situation, and we have tried to preserve them and get how it will be preserved. And its habitat is sandy banks, bay beaches, and this India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, West Afghanistan, and east of Philippines and Taiwan is a habitat of distribution of this species. Chloris is, you know about it, is a paddy mountain systems and sandy areas. So this is one of the teak Tectona grandis species. It was a mixed forest area, and teak is planted here. It's not a natural like central India and like Assam, Arunachal, Meghalaya. It is planted here, and within teak forest area, we received award to four species, 681 individual in three different seasons, and this is some of the common species of the teak forest. And this habitat of this is basically boundary and north and northeast India and Nepal, Bhutan is the distribution of species, and that is now Lophoria species in forest floors, cleanings and mature forest, but move to the road cuts and swabic fields during this highest monsoons. This is the altitude areas, and Graminophora is also having this open sandy and muddy beaches areas. In agriculture field, we receive only one species. That is of three seasons, Sundaras, and this is Syzygium cumini mixed forest area. This Syzygium in this similar wildlife sanctuary adjoining area is good forest patches over there, but we just got only one species, and this is the distribution is the central, south, northeastern Pakistan and Bangladesh, old fields, grasslands, forest patches, and the scrubs areas of things. Surya robusta again is the mixed forest having species, and mainly this common species we received 649 individuals in three different seasons, and this habitat is sandy rivers, beaches, And this is the other species. Bicolors is the forest, but also woody fields, and Northeast India, Nepal, Bangladesh, and Myanmar is the distribution range. So this is the bamboo plantation. These are some areas planted by the forest department in the fringe area of the national park sanctuary in the forest area. And there's four species in different seasons, 1,756 individually we documented, and new colorist attenuators and slendra is the another species we received here. And this is a lowland forest areas, gardens and rural area is the best habitat of new colorists. And this is the northwest, northeast India, Pakistan, Nepal, and Burma is habitat and distribution range of this tree. That Pinus or Rosburga is also planted here. It's not a native of this region. And this we have received four species and that 61 individuals in three different seasons. These are the can say the indicator of pine forest species. So at the vertical stratification, that is a ground species. We see the medium height and the tall height, strata wise of the tiger beetles. We documented and as per the specification and vegetation types, forest types, and habitat types here. So they were assembled and similarly using this habitat overlappings of the way some of the species overlapped in all different forest types and habitat, and some is very specific kind of vegetation. So we can say that the species is a kind of indicator of that forest types. So these are the best indicator species of riverine areas only received Calomera bicolors in high canopy cover areas, pine forest and species as well Cylindera is agriculture trees. So this is a unique observation we observe in Simbalbara Wildlife Sanctuary. Colomeras, both the two different species on basically on Cairessa and Syzygium. Both the tree was very quite very close, but not very close. I think half and kilometers difference in the same national park area. We took this picture in 2095, 2005 in the month of August. So we are planning to visit those area again this August. What is the situation? Because it's still there's a forest fire. River is changing the courses because of the monsoon season. So what is the status? But this type of unique phenomena we observe thousands, and we can just observe on video. You can enjoy the video how this have the behavior. It is a common roosting of their way. They are not harming the plant because they roost like birds and other species. And this roosting behavior was very unique in Syzygium and Carissa of two species of tiger beetles.
This field guide provides vital information on ecology and systematics of tiger beetles. They are common predatory ground beetles belonging to the family Cicindelidae of order Coleoptera. They hunt for small insects, spiders, and other arthropods in open areas and are very difficult to collect because of fast running and fleeing mechanisms. First time in India, this strange phenomenon of communal roosting was observed during monsoon in Simbalbara Wildlife Sanctuary of Himachal Pradesh. This involved multiple species in dense aggregations on two host plants, Syzygium and Carissa. These roosts showed high fidelity and returned to the same site every year and help primarily in thermoregulation and protection to the group. Even though they differ greatly in habitat preference, they have high habitat specificity and resource partitioning. They are also excellent bioindicators for long-term monitoring of forest ecosystem in variety of landscapes.
Yeah, so this was a very unique phenomena, and then we are planning to go. What is the situation current over this? And this study we have conducted through Department of Science and Technology, and this is very. So some of the things we have just species richness patterns with this estimations on the bird species, high number of birds in Bangladesh because of wetlands, and there's a migratory birds over there. Nina Devi Wildlife Sanctuary was also the good habitats of the majority of the bird species, and Similvana and Renuka wetland this bird species was less over there. In the case of butterflies, Bangdam and Similvana was way. Even Similvana is same area we have observed that number of tiger beetles and birds looking as a butterflies, a kind of butterfly garden during monsoon. Large number of species of butterflies and tiger beetle, you can see it. It was a unique kind of because of the habitat. And this is the ending of Shivaliks. Then above just go to Simbalwara, then Nahan, and that is a lesser Himalayas. So this is the can say the zone is very, very good for the species. Indices is a species of group of insect as well as the birds and the beautiful creatures. This is very rich in families also. In the case of tiger beetle estimations, we say the highest number was in Simbalwada. Sorry, yes, Simbalwada and Nana Devi Wildlife Sanctuary. In the case of using this SPSS and birds, distribution is higher, as well as this case of butterflies, and we have done the species wildlife pond dam and wildlife sanctuary of Simbalwada as the higher numbers, and cross taxa correlation with in the species to the butterflies and birds was as higher in these areas, and tiger beetle was in correlations in the species to the uh, higher numbers in the case of both the species. That is the conclusion that butterfly and birds responded to distribution better than the butterflies. Cortex correlation between these birds, butterfly and tiger beetles is very significant. Association of tiger beetle is significant with habitat and environmental variables useful for policy evaluation and conservation planning and monitoring. This is a very important point here because nobody is understanding the values of those beautiful creatures. If you go any areas I already discussed, you need permission. You can't collect any species, but you can take the photographs. But going inside the forest, you need permission. Still, agriculture fields, if you're collecting and observing it, you have to inform first forest department and state biodiversity board. So this is one of the small difficulty. So our idea is to just give the ideas, training programs, awareness to the policy makers as well as the conservation and who is creating this plannings, the biodiversity board and forest department and the organizations. We have to give the proper sensitizations for this species, and the potential is the fine skill. Monitoring is needed. Current status of trends of environment and policy evolution is by the managers. Public awareness is very important. Citizen science program needed. Scientific base of areas of high nature values. So this is the idea. It was a very not very small study. It's a study for the 3 years, but we face a lot of problems about of this formation, collection, identification purpose. But again, we're trying to motivate, trying to give the ideas, training programs to the community through citizen science approach, and definitely we'll get some good results and database of the tiger beetles of Western Himalaya. I was discussing with Saran that South Western Ghat we are having sufficient information of tiger beetles. Large number of people are working. But in the case of North India, very few pockets we have conducted the study. Still, higher Himalayas, Trans Himalaya, some of the national park, Uttarakhand is having 6 national park and sanctuaries, Valley of Flowers, Nanda Devi, Gangoti, Govind Purshubha. They're beautiful areas and they're having tiger beaches. But we have not conducted the study very significantly. We are planning it and I'm requesting the persons who are interested can join us, and we are planning to field visits. We'll definitely request the government for necessary permission for forest department, biodiversity board. We are having now MOU with the biodiversity board. Recently, last month, we have done this MOU with the Grafikara University and myself is the coordinators to sensitize those peoples to permit easily. Otherwise, it will take a long time to take the permission. If you apply for permission, they will give you sometimes 6 months, 1 year. You will not getting the permission, and without permission, you can't go do the study of tiger beetles and other species. So my one of the other job is to sensitize those bureaucrats and the policy makers. That is the importance of this species, and then awareness programs that people are understanding the value. So now I will request you can join and plan some of the good projects in Himalayas, because of large number of us still had to be conduct a very good study of tiger beetles, and we are not having good data set of the tiger beetles or altitudinal gradient. So it is the gradient is going up to the 3,000, 4,000 meter altitude, like Valley of Flowers and Nanda Devi, but there's significant studies required. And this is from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that wonderful talk on your tiger beetle studies, Uniyal sir. So I've been wanting to know about your studies in Himachal, and this was my very first time hearing about your work, and it's both inspiring and eye-opening. I'm sure at least some of the people who have joined this meeting would definitely contact you to collaborate
Yeah.
with you for studies in northern India.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah. My idea is that you can just long back in Indian Council of Agricultural Research when I was a student in PhD time, they have developed a coordinated project. My friend were working on dung beetles, so they are having coordinated project of dung beetles all over the country, and they connected a large number of students and scientists. They are working on dung beetles. You can plan this type of project or coordinated project on tiger beetles. So you submit it, we can approach to the ministry. We're having good context right now in the science and technology and ministry. We'll try to convince those people. And even then, government of India is not having the national mission of Himalayan studies. Under that category also, we can submit the proposal to provide this importance of this beetle as a bioindicators to monitor the health of an ecosystem. Forest Department and this Biodiversity Board and the organization, now they are thinking about the health of the forest. So this is the best indicator to monitor the health of the forest. So on the particular that's ground, you plan it is a country-wide coordinated project. So 3-4 zone you have to select Himalayan zone, Central India, South India, Northeast, and the Gujarat and some part of Rajasthan. So coordinated project can work and that will give you the very good result because large number of students and people is there interested on tiger beetle. I think so. You are very much active and I'm getting the ideas how a lot of people are doing that pixelization. There's documentation of tiger beetle is a very fantastic work you all are doing. So myself, Dr. Pearson, are becoming old. We are retired person also, but now you can initiate study. We'll try to help you out, and you plan a very good coordinated project of tiger beetle conservation of the country. So I will help you. I'll try to give my contacts to you, and you join, and you can make a group of area-wise. North India, South India, we already discussed, and definitely we'll get a good fundings and under that banner, you will do able to do the study very freely, and you will get the permission from government of India. Otherwise, the permission is very good issues. If I'm having large number of collection I submitted to Wildlife Institute of India and Zoological Survey of India, you can't send your specimen for identification and DNA study outside of the country. Sometimes you need collaboration. It is not possible to collaborate the people's working on outside of the country. But you need permission, National Biodiversity Authority, but they are giving the permission, but the process is very slow. So this is one of the reasons people are not interested to do this type of jugglery on this particular subject. But definitely, I'm very hopeful you young people will do remarkable work on this particular aspect of biodiversity, and you'll get good jobs. My best wishes for you, all of you, and definitely I will try to help you if any things is required for this project. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for the heads up, Uniyal sir. Before we move on to the question and answer session, we have one more short overview about the Tiger Beetle Watch and the Tiger Beetle Quest event that's going to come up next week. So I would like my friend Jitesh to present his screen and speak a bit about Tiger Beetle Watch and Tiger Beetle Quest for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll open up
Yeah,
the question and answer session.
sure.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Sharon. Am I audible to you all?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. So I'll take this opportunity to, take you through this particular tiger beetle quest that we are doing. Just give me a moment. I'm just sharing my screen.
For people who don't know who Jitesh is, he's one of the only persons who takes pictures of early stages of tiger beetles in India in recent years. Yeah.
No. It is there are so many other people who have done that. It is my good friend Girish Gowda who actually showed me for the first time how they look, and then the curiosity got bigger, and yeah. So it was thanks to Girish Gowda, and after he showed me, I was able to spot it in my backyard and document different stages of the tiger beetle larvae. Yeah, so special mention to him there. Yes. So, yeah. So yes. So let me introduce you to this. So this is the Tiger Beetle Quest 2025, which we have come up with, and the Tiger Beetle Watch Group as a whole have come up with. And am I audible to you guys?
Yeah, you are audible, Jitesh.
Yeah,
Okay, I think
please
you,
continue. Please continue.
I think you went on mute and suddenly there was silence after silence. So I was thinking for myself, yeah. So yeah, so this is the Tiger Beetle quest that we have come up with. The Tiger Beetle Watch Group have come up with, and this is to get, because now is the season to see and observe these tiger beetles. we have come up with this particular quest. And I think, please spread this word across all the forums that you are in. And the motto of this quest would be to document or upload as many documentations as possible of the tiger beetles. Okay, and this is going to happen between June 28th to July 6th. I think somebody has to mute their.
Sorry, Jitesh, I did it. I'll take
Yeah.
care of the audience here.
Yeah, so this Tiger Beetle quest is scheduled between June 20th, 28th and July 6th. The only motto or the goal of this particular Tiger Beetle quest is to get as many documentations as possible. No matter, the count is between 28th, and even though the count is between 28th and 6th, the count for the quest is between 28th and 6th. No matter when you have clicked it, you can actually upload them. Okay, but even if you upload them, even if you upload those observations over here, those will be of great use for us, and it will enhance our understanding of the tiger beetles also. So thing you have to do is you should be joining this particular group over here, the Tiger Beetle Quest 2025, and then you need to add your observations. So you can add it in two ways. That is, you can directly come inside the group and add your observations, and you'll have to simply add what you saw. If you don't know what you have seen, I mean, if you don't know the genus or species of the tiger beetle that you have seen, then you can actually simply keep your observations at Cicindelidae. Cicindelidae is a family of tiger beetles. You can keep it at that. And then when did you see it, and all these straightforward, notes that you'll have to add, and you'll have to obviously add a photo of the tiger beetle that you have seen. And then comes these observation fields. So this helps us in understanding the habitat type, the microhabitat this particular tiger beetle actually preferred, and then the elevation it was seen at. Elevation can be seen easily. Yeah, if you think how I can see the elevation or anything, you can actually go through a compass app or those apps, one of those apps on your mobile, and you can actually see the elevation there. And but you'll have to be out in the open, and GPS has to take note of this elevation. Only then it will be visible to you guys. And then the time to contact is, so this outing, so from the time you actually were outdoors till you saw your first tiger beetle, that would be the time of contact. So if I see it soon, like as soon as I step out, you can put it less than a minute, okay, and then so on and so forth. So 5 minutes after the walk began or something. Number of individuals, you can put a rough estimate, or if you can actually be very specific, very good. So we will have a estimate of how many you have seen. And then behavior. What was the behavior? What was it doing? Was it stilting? Was it active? Was it running around? Was it hunting? Was it mating? Was it ovipositing? Or was it munching on something, right? So these are the behaviors that you can actually put up over here. Weather today, you'll have all these stuffs over here, all these options available for you guys. Sunny, cloudy, fog, partly cloudy, all this. Other specimen, these are two optional comments that you'll have to make. Other species seen from the same family and other comments. So you can actually, either you can put this up or you can choose to ignore it. There is no problem. And yeah, so this is about adding it directly into your project. Next step is to get into your observation. So now if I get into my observations over here, I think I have one handy over here. I can just take this rounded thorax, that is the cylinder arm, which I saw today morning. You can directly come down to add to a project. and then you can directly add it over here. But for this to happen, you'll have to join the project, and you'll have to directly, yeah. So you'll have to directly. I mean, you'll have to choose this project over here, and then once you choose this project, you'll get the exact same form which you'll have to fill, and then you can add it to the project. That's all. We hope that you guys spread this word. And if you guys are not there on iNaturalist, please make sure you join iNaturalist. Instead of rather keeping your photos documented, undocumented on your mobile phone or simply uploaded on Instagram stories or posts, I think you can upload some of your high resolutions over here, and it will be of help for everyone. It will be of help for everyone who are studying these little creatures, and it will help us to map the tiger beetles. It will we will know from where all we can get these small tiny little creatures. And if you add these observation fields as well, we will understand the habitat, micro habitat, elevation, everything. So I encourage you to join iNaturalist, sign up on an iNaturalist, and add all your observations here. No matter if it is tiger beetle or anything, you can add everything over here. You can add everything, and there are experts in each field who will be able to help you out, and your observations can really stand out. Thank you. I think this is what I was supposed to talk about, and I hope I have encouraged you enough to join this quest. And yeah, there are prizes obviously, and I think Sharon will talk more about it. And please, make sure you spread this word across all the groups that you are in. And yeah, happy tiger beetle watching, I can say. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Jitesh, for explaining Tiger Beetle quest in detail. Just one more thing, you can also, to all the participants, you can also do this in your mobile as well. And just if you don't have iNaturalist, just download iNaturalist. And of course, you won't be part of the group at first. So under the project section, just search Tiger Beetle Quest 2025 and then join the project. And as and when you upload observation, you can add the observation to the project, and you can fill all the details that we have asked and then submit. This is the first time that we are doing something of this sort in India, and we need more people and more eyes to watch tiger beetles. I'm sure this will be a good start for tiger beetles and for their conservation and everything else. Now comes the important section. We have got a few minutes. We can go on until 7:30 p.m. now, and I'd like to hear your questions. And let's open up the floor. No question is too small, too weird, or too nerdy. We'll open up. I'm opening the floor for the questions. If you have questions for David sir, you can ask. If you have questions for Uniyal sir, you can ask. If you have questions about Tiger Beetle Watch and Tiger Beetle Quest, feel free to ask. And one last thing, if you can all turn on your cameras so that we could see your faces, that would be really great. Thank you. Should I? Okay, you can all start one by one if you want to speak up, or if you want to ask any question, you can use the chat window. You can raise your hand and then I'll call out your name if you want to speak, or go ahead with the.
Somebody asked what percentage are still undescribed in India?
Yeah,
right
I'm
now,
just from the start. Okay.
Right now, we have at least, I know of at least photographs of 10 species that are probably undescribed.
Yeah.
So again, we cannot describe species just from photos. We have to work out how we can collect, get permission. And it's the problem before is quite often the major expert is somebody in Germany or something like that, and sending specimens is very difficult. So right now we're stuck. We know that there are new species to be described, but we're trying to work with ZSI. Hopefully will be a way to help at least specimens be loaned abroad. We'll see. Hopefully that'll work out soon. But it's 10 already, and who knows how many more are out there. It's a lot of Even in well-collected areas, we find new species sometimes.
Ashwin Vishwanathan, if you want to speak up.
Yeah, thanks. Really enjoyable. Thanks for the talks and thanks Jitesh for the primer. And I think it'll be the first time we're using traditional projects for something like this, so that should be nice. I had a question. So, what are the best angles to photograph a tiger beetle for ID? Because I think in a number of cases it becomes difficult to get at any positive identification. And another question which I had put in comment, how can is it possible to have a future of tiger beetle monitoring through iNaturalist or a similar platform where we are able to get at abundances through public participation, like it's possible for birds? Not true abundances, but some indication. So if I have an area that I'm monitoring, if I'm able to estimate something like 100 tiger beetles per some unit area, and then over the years I'm able to actually monitor that place to get a sense for how abundances are changing. So yeah, those are my questions.
Well, I'll ask the ones about photographs first, especially with the small group called Cylindra and Neocaleris. They're extremely difficult with minor little things. Sometimes it's the genitalia that are the difference. Again, that's hard to photograph genitalia in any way. But if you are photographing them, be sure you do from the head on, so we can see from the face on. We can look at the labrum and the mandibles that way. One of the thorax, so a dorsal view, and then a real good view of the side, of the lateral side of the thorax especially. Sometimes the number of setae are very important. But front of the head, side of the thorax, and a dorsal view should be appropriate and adequate for most species. But if the difference in genitalia, we're going to have to collect the specimen. And Dr. Uniyal, maybe you can respond to the second question.
What was the second question?
It was about getting at being able to estimate abundances and monitor abundances over time as citizen scientists. So I understand that if you're doing a dedicated project, then certainly there are methods to do it. But
no, definitely, if you're going to study any species, whether tiger beetles, at least you are need to seasonality data first is required. We are going for one time and collecting it. It is not giving a very clear picture of abundance. You have to go in different seasons, different interval, and then you can assess how is the species. And definitely we need a habitat also, because the tiger beetle is a specific habitat indicators, and you have to plan your study in different habitat, different vegetation types, and different season. On the basis of this whole information, then you will be able to correlate the abundance and species diversity over there. Yeah.
I hope that answers your question, Ashwin.
to an extent, but yeah, I guess this is a longer discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Next, I'll call Chitra Shankaraka to speak.
Hi, David. That was a wonderful talk, and I'm also thankful to Uniyal for sharing his experiences. I have a question. I am a biocontrol exponent in rice crops. So the image is also from Circe, the one which you shared, and you were saying that it is a very good biocontrol agent for brown plant hopper. So my question is, how do I go about, studying its impact in agro ecosystem? Is it only, see, we do pitfall trapping and we see the numbers, but exactly what is its impact on pests? How can I go about it? Is there any idea you can suggest, because you are experienced in this?
Yes, right now, we have what's called very anecdotal data. Just it looks like this is happening here, and it seemed to be successful. But what we need is someone to do a more extensive experiment where you actually do controls, where you half the rice paddies at 90 degrees and half the rice paddies at 45 degrees and compare what goes on by actually counting the numbers of individual tiger beetles. We need more data. Right now, it's what we call kind of arm waving as far as our results because it's so anecdotal. But what would work out is for you to actually do this more extensively and compare across different types of rice paddies and see does it work better in some than others. Ones that are in terraces or ones that are in flat areas, all kinds of factors are involved. But right now, if we could get those data, and it shouldn't be too difficult to get, especially if you, when I talked to the farmers there, they were eager to help because they knew it would be a cheaper way, less dangerous way than using pesticides. And right away, they were willing to, that's nothing, we can change these very, very easily. But we did it for a very, very small area. And I would hate to say this is the way it is because it's on a very small number of data so far. But if you could organize that, I would suspect that you would get cooperation from the government too, because it's obvious to even non-biologists that this would be a very, very inexpensive and effective way, if it works out, to spread this out throughout many parts of India. But we don't know where it would not work, where it would work, and you wouldn't want to make too many mistakes. So we want to have more data first, and I think that might be your first step is just work on it as different types of rice paddies and as get as many data as possible.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
Next up, I'll call Dia Banerjee, if you can unmute and speak.
Yes, hi. Nice presentation, sir. I have 3 questions to ask. First is, why do tiger beetles have such large bulging eyes compared to other beetles? And second, Uniyal sir mentioned that they have roosting trees. So do they have any preference for specific roosting trees? That is second. And third one is, David sir mentioned that he has observed some tiger beetles in the paddy field. So could the presence or abundance of other insect taxa, let's say fireflies or odonates, have any ecologically linked to the tiger beetle presence or like vice versa?
Well, I'll answer the first one, and I'll let Dr. Uniyal answer the second one. The size of the eyes, and there have been studies on the eyes. There are what we call many ocelli, many facets. And what tiger beetles do is they detect movement, very accurately detect movement. It turns out one of the best ways for a prey item to escape being eaten is to stand still. And the tiger beetles, what they do is they are able to detect and move from one facet to another very, very precisely. So, and what happens is, we also found out tiger beetles can run so fast that they lose sight of their prey. So they have to stop and detect the movement again. So they're constantly stopping, movement, and they're using their large eyes and a number of facets to very accurately detect movement. And there are papers on that. If you want to, if you ever want to get copies of articles, you can send me a note, and I can send you copies, PDFs of those articles. Dr. Uniyal, can you answer her about the aggregation?
Yeah. We have not observed those aggregations in other plants, and the idea was no study has been conducted. But my observation is that both the leaves and the plant is having a specific kind of fragrance. Maybe it is one of the reasons. You just go and just pluck the tree, the leaf of the plant, they're having a small latex, they release a latex. So maybe this fragrance preferred by those species. And we have not observed other species than the thing. So it's one of the reasons, and definitely we are planning to visit next week to those areas again after a very long time and try to observe it. And definitely then we'll try to observe what is the main reason of the communication of those tiger beetles on this specific kind of plants. And certainly maybe it is fragrance of the leaf, or the fragrance of the plants, and maybe the latex they are releasing it. So it may be, I'm not sure about it, yes. No study has been conducted on this particular aspect of this congregation of common roosting of tiger beetle.
Okay, sir.
And what was your third question?
Sir, my third question was is there any ecological significance or link between other taxa
Oh,
of the presence of tiger beetles in paddy fields? So, is there any link that, like fireflies and odonates, they also prefer paddy fields? So,
as,
can we have any conclusion like their presence have an impact on the tiger beetle presence? So,
as far as competition, you mean for prey, things like that?
yes.
No, Dr. Uniyal might correct me, I don't know, but I know of none. I don't know of any of those kind of data. Again, those are very, very basic data that if a student wanted to work on them, it would be fairly straightforward to gather those data and quite important, especially if they worked out positively. But as of now, I don't know of any of those data available.
Okay, thank you.
Next up,
Yes. Try to observe tiger beetles in your area also.
Yes, sir. Last month, I have mailed you, David, sir. Last month, I
Yeah.
have seen.
Which area you observe?
It's in Coimbatore, sir, Sarvanampatti.
Okay.
There,
Oh,
I've.
perfect.
Sorry, sir.
Perfect. Yeah, good. Continue.
So there, I've noticed accidentally one tiger beetle, and I took a very vague picture. It's not clear. So
Okay.
David, sir, suggested me that could be Cylindera cerevini, but because of lack of proper picture, we are not able to ID it in a species level.
Yeah. Continue. You have to continue.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
next up, Viral Joshi, if you can unmute.
Hey, thank you very much. Great talk. I have a two simple question. One question is, do tiger beetle larvae use any glow or anything to attract prey? And second one is, so we know all tiger beetles are very fast, but do we know which one is the fastest? Which species is the fastest?
Okay, as far as we know, there are no tiger beetles that glow. In Bolivia and Argentina and South America, there are tiger beetles that occur on termite mounds that actually prey on the glowworms that are in the termite mounds. They aren't termites, but they are actually glowworms. They prey on them. But as far as I know, there are no tiger beetles that we know of present that glow themselves. And then the second question, again, you're asking too many questions at one time. The second question was what again?
So my second question was, which species is the fastest one? Because I mean, all tiger beetles are fast.
There's a tiger beetle in Australia that has been clocked running at 4 kilometers per hour. It is flightless. It runs across these salt flats, and it runs faster, almost faster than I can go after it. It's amazingly quick. Those long legs. So it's thought to be one of, if not the fastest running insect in the world.
Yeah, thank you.
Viral, I think there's also one documentary on YouTube featuring that tiger beetle from Australia, which David sir is speaking about. Maybe I'll WhatsApp you that video. You can look into it later. I'll just go through a few questions in the chat box. So this was from Sohail Madan. So his question is, what is the correlation between butterflies and tiger beetles? Could you explain that a little bit?
That's one I've done at regional levels in which at fairly large scales, the number of species are highly correlated. But Dr. Uniyal has much more data on at smaller scales, which is very important. So maybe Dr. Uniyal can respond at the smaller scale, how butterflies and tiger beetles are related in their species abundance.
Yeah, for this purpose, definitely you do the study on the landscape level. A small area, if you're having this, like we work in Smalvara, is small 20 square kilometer area, this Nana Devi is a small area. But if you want real correlations of this type of study, correlation with butterflies, birds, and tiger beetle, you need a very good data set of large landscape level. So my idea was, which I am requesting, such type of correlative studies is needed. So if you're going for this landscape level study, a landscape of Western Himalaya, so then you will get a very clear pictures, but certainly there are very good correlations We have done the study in very small level. It was not very large landscape, but vegetation type was different. The wetland forest types and different type of forest we conducted in Nahan is basically is a conifer forest of pinus, then sal, bamboo, agricultural mixed forest. So we got a small data set and really having a very good correlation with the species diversity also. Yeah.
Okay, I hope that answers your question, Sohail. So the next question is from Narendra Bhagwat. He asks, how many times tiger beetles congregations like these are seen? Is it observed regularly somewhere else in the world? Dr. Uniyal, if you can.
Yeah, I have not observed that. Because after this observation that some of the scientists from Japan, he contacted me for collaborative study. But government has not replied because I have to go right to the government for the permission, was the government not agreed to work as the collaboration of this type of data set also. That is sort of difficulty over there. But I think so this type of collaboration and this congregation not have been recorded earlier from other areas is best of my knowledge. Maybe Dr. Pearson has having good experience and he is having some record of it, but I have not seen anywhere. I have seen this type of collaboration of other pest species of Chrysomelidae family of order Coleoptera. But those pest species is destroying the vegetation and tree cover and destroying the complete leaf. But in the case of tiger beetles, that are not harming the plant. That is only roosting and congregations, thermoregulation behavior, they're maintaining it. On the case of tiger beetles.
Yeah. Nowhere else in the world have we seen the number of species together like Dr. Uniyal found. That's the highest number. But we do have aggregations that have been reported from Indonesia. We have them reported from the Amazon. And again, most of these happen at night when a lot of tiger beetle people are not out looking for them. So there may be more to be discovered yet if people will start wandering around, especially at night, looking for them. But again, the congregations we found in the Amazon and Indonesia are nowhere the size of what Dr. Uniyal found in the Himalayas.
Thank you, sir.
Fine. Okay, thank you.
The next question is again by Narendra. He asks, like similar to butterflies, do tiger beetles, has there been any observations of tiger beetles basking with open wings?
I know of none. The only time they spread their elytra to expose their flight wings is in flight, as far as I know.
Okay, thanks.
The next question is from Satvik Malla. He is asking, what percentage of the species of tiger beetles occurring in the Indian subcontinent are currently undescribed in your opinion?
Again, my guess, when I worked in India in the 80s and early 90s, we found, I think it was 36 new species, undescribed species. And again, we didn't go everywhere. Obviously, we went to almost every state. We couldn't get to the Northeast, and we didn't do a lot of work in the Gujarat. But in the areas we covered, we found even in fairly well collected areas. So I can only guess there could be easily 15 or 20 more new species that have not been described yet in India, easily. But that's just a guess.
The next question is by Shivangi. The question is, are there any possibility of endemicity of tiger beetles in Rajasthan?
Biogeographically, Rajasthan appears to be mostly species that have come in from Southwest Asia, from Northern Asia. And right now, there doesn't seem to be a lot of endemism in that area. Places that could be isolated for long periods of time, like an isolated mountaintop, things like that. We haven't seen that. So at present, Rajasthan doesn't seem to be a real center for endemism. The endemism is more in northeastern India, and especially in the southern part of the Western Ghats, where there are places where physically tiger beetle populations can be isolated from each other, and they form new species over millions of years.
The next question is from Vishnu Shankar. The question is, where and how can I find larvae of tiger beetles? Because it's difficult to spot.
That takes, larval tiger beetles takes a special skill. You learn to look for the shape of the hole, and the larval tiger beetle fills the hole with his head, and then all of a sudden the hole appears when he drops down. We used to study the larvae. We had to dig them up. They will go down in some parts of Canada where they have to go below the frost line. They go down 2 meters, way down. They dig their tunnel way down. But most places, the tiger beetle larvae dig a tunnel that's probably 10 centimeters, 15 centimeters, maybe 20 centimeters deep. And what we used to do to get the larvae out to study them, we'd dig them up. And you have to be careful because you don't want to hurt the larvae as you're digging through the tunnel. But one of my students discovered she would spit on a piece of grass and then put the grass down the tunnel, and the tiger beetle larva would grab it with its mandibles, and then she'd pull it up. She was fishing for the tiger beetles. And she has now taught a lot of people. Not everybody can. I can't do it. I cannot do it, but she does it really well. Sometimes it's a real technique that you can very quickly pull the tiger beetle up and look at it as it's holding on to the piece of grass.
I hope that answers your question, Vishnu. No? The next question, we'll take 2 last questions. The next question is from Anil Sarsavan. The question is, are there any upcoming workshops focused on tiger beetle taxonomy?
Dr. Uniyal, do you have any response to that?
Anil?
Yeah, it's from
Anil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. So definitely this all is tiger beetle, which is going on up to this next week, up to the next week. You join it, and we are planning in November again. We will celebrate World Tiger Beetle Day, second. We have celebrated last time also, the first World Tiger Beetle Day, and in November we will trying to arrange some of the workshop as well as the online some module on tiger beetle for the school kids and as well as the entomologists who are interested for few days also, and celebrate World Tiger Beetle Day. You can contact us, and that really will, I think so, it will be very useful.
In the meantime, the field guide and iNaturalist are available for those who want to start. And you can do a lot of self-teaching too.
Moving on to the last question, it's from Sandeep. He has 2 questions. The first one is, what allows tiger beetles to survive in such a wide range of habitats from forests to deserts?
Yeah, Dr. Uniyal, do you have a species in mind that has a wide range of habitats it uses?
What? Can you repeat it again?
What allows tiger beetles to survive in such a wide range of habitats from forests to deserts?
Yeah, no, not in tiger beetles. There's some other group of species also that's having the wide range on the basis of their habitat, their preference. This is one of the reason of the species, whether it's a tiger beetle or the butterfly, or any animals. They're having their habitat selection of survival. On the basis of that, the species can collect and observe those species in different habitats. This is one of the things, and that is, I think so. This is the answer about it here. The species having their specific reason of survival, habitat preferences. They're having this food behaviors as well as the other behaviors of survival.
Around the world, some adult tiger beetles will nudge into a little bit different habitat, but most species tend to be very, very specific as adults.
Yeah.
And the larvae are even more specific. So if you're looking for real precise habitat, microhabitat use, the larvae are even more precise than the adults. So very few species of adult tiger beetles really move into very different habitats. They tend to be in a fairly near water's edge on oceans. Even in forest paths in the Amazon, we have some species that are only occur in secondary forest paths. Others only occur in primary forest paths. So as a general rule, the tiger beetles as adults, and especially as larvae, tend to be restricted to very specific habitats.
His second question is, how do tiger beetles communicate or interact with each other? Can they even communicate with each other?
What they do is, it turns out that tiger beetles can use ultrasounds and vibrations. We know that they use ultrasounds to fool bats. that they actually, as they're flying, they produce the same ultrasounds that bats are using to try and locate through radar while they're flying, trying to locate their prey items. So they can actually communicate with their enemies and fool them into thinking that they're another bat. They apparently use stridulation, this type of noise, stridulation perhaps. You see sometimes their elytra will shake, and if you listen carefully, you can hear them making a noise. So we haven't studied it very much, but it may be that they may be communicating to other individuals of the same species. We're not sure about that. Other than that, they use their antennae mainly to contact each other. Tiger beetles, if you keep them in a terrarium together, there are some species that don't like to be together. They'll eat each other. They'll kill each other. They're very voracious. But in mating times and out in the open, sometimes you see them contact you. So this is why Dr. Uniyal's observations of those thousands of tiger beetles together just blows my mind, because I try and keep tiger beetles together and they eat each other in a terrarium. So it was a real eye-opener to see something I'd never seen before, and trying to figure out why they're doing that and how they can overcome that ability or tendency to eat whatever's around them. But antennae and vibrations are the main communications.
Vibration and maybe some small pheromones.
You're right. You're right. Yeah.
Pheromones. They also release the pheromones to communicate sometimes. And some of the group like Calavidae family and other group of insect, they release the pheromones. Probably one of the reason of their communication and this congregation behavior.
If you ever pick up a tiger beetle, it's alive, and you can smell it, and that smell is usually a defense chemical, benzaldehyde. It's kind of a sweet smell. That's the one that turns into cyanide. But absolutely right. They probably, if they're capable of developing that chemical, they probably have pheromones as well to release. We don't know yet. That's for some of you to discover. Okay, so you can go out there and discover pheromones in tiger beetles. Lots of challenges here.
Sandeep, I hope that answers your question. And I think we have gone beyond our time, but I would like to invite everybody again to participate in Tiger Beetle Quest contest, as well as continue contributing Tiger Beetle observations on iNaturalist. We have a larger collection group called Tiger Beetle Watch on iNaturalist, which you can go and look into later on today. And lastly, thank you so much, David sir and Uniyal sir, for agreeing to do this and for being part of the first ever Tiger Beetle Quest that's happening in India.
Anytime. I really have a lot of fun doing this. Seeing all these young people getting involved is great. There is hope for the future after all.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much for organizing the wonderful session. And these were best wishes for every person. They will do good work on tiger beetle conservation and document the species of nearby areas as well as our different landscapes. Our country is unique. We are having the beautiful other different landscape. We are having the Himalayas, Central India, Northeast, but information of tiger beetles is still lacking. Since last year, I've traveled the Himalayas along. I started from the base camp of Siachen up to the Kailash Mansarovar, but still I'm not a perfect expert of tiger beetle because the species has very, very huge numbers. We need a good teams, and I hope that you all will do very fantastic work, and which I've suggested you plan a very coordinated project of tiger beetle conservation of the country. So under that programs, a lot of people will communicate you, a lot of people will contribute, and from the best of wishes from my side. And thank you, Dr. David Pearson. We'll join again soon for the IUCN meeting in coming months.
And Sharon, I'm going to try and have you help organize the Brazilians. We're getting together next week with the Latin Americans. This is exactly the kind of meeting for Brazil. Well, it's just perfect for Brazil. So maybe you can help us work with them, and they can develop something just like this.
We'll do it for sure. We'll do it. I'm up for it.
I love your enthusiasm. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David sir, and thank you again.
So we are having the group of tiger beetle of the world. Large number of associated scientists communicating us, and we are conducting various meetings under the banner of IUCN of tiger beetle conservation. So, but definitely we'll try to help you and coordinate as per your need and our business. Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank you
everyone. Good
everyone
night.
again. Thank you everyone. Good night.
Right.